For the past 4 or 5 seasons, Manchester United have had a problem on their right-hand side. It simply hasn't worked no matter who we have tried. At times we've had players who simply aren't technical enough to play at this level in a top side. We've had players who are far too predictable in the final third of the pitch, and players which just lack the intensity to really excel at the top level in the Premier League. However, over the past 4, 5, 6 weeks, Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag may have stumbled upon the solution. Diogo Dalot and Alejandro Garnacho. These two have been performing very well over the past few weeks, and they really seem to be striking an understanding of each other and the way that each other want to play. And game by game, it is going strength to strength. But the question is, why is it working so well? You guessed it, we're going to have a look. So the success of these two comes down to both technical and tactical reasons, and we're going to focus on both, with the main focus on tactical reasons, of course, supplemented by the technical aspect of the two players. So, starting off with the tactical, why does it work? Well, Diogo Dalot is often inverting from right back into midfield, into this sort of position here, something we've spoken about quite a lot on the channel, being this second phase player, alongside Casemiro or Kobbie Mainoo or even Bruno Fernandes at times. Dalot has regularly found himself in this position. The importance of this has been stated in other videos. If you want to go check them out, go do it. It will give you a greater understanding. But what I want to now focus on is why Dalot in particular has been so good in this role. We've tried other players in this sort of position. Luke Shaw is inverted from the left-hand side at the start of the season, Tyrell Malacia last season. Dalot's doing it really well at the moment. The question is, why? Well, the first answer, press resistance. Diogo Dalot is a very intelligent player, a player who scans his surrounding really well, meaning that as he receives the ball, he knows what is around him, he knows what way he needs to take his touch to get away from the opposition. Now, this was the first hint of him inverting as a fullback. This was a couple of months ago now in the 0-0 draw against Liverpool. Pretty boring game, but we saw some important things. Diogo Dalot's ability to do this. And it's really impressive how he does it on this occasion. So here he's inverted inside next to Sofian Amrabat. As he receives the ball, what he's going to do is open his body up to receive the pass, and then he takes a really clever touch with the back of his right foot to drag the ball backwards away from this Liverpool player, basically. This means that he can turn the ball away from the opposition, move the ball into space, and then with a couple of strong, good touches, power in his running ability, he's able to stride away from the Liverpool player and get himself into a good position. This is genuine press resistance in the first phase. The ability to receive the ball with your back to goal, turn, evade pressure, and therefore move the ball forward for your side, whilst, of course, keeping possession. That's very, very important here. And he done it on a couple of occasions in a few minute spell in this game. Once again, Onana's going to play the ball through to Diogo Dalot. He's going to show that press resistance and again take a really clever touch using that kind of back inside part of his right boot, turning away from the opposition. And then once again, he has the running power to create separation and get away from the opposition. So this is really good from Diogo Dalot. This is why he can invert, because he's press resistant in the first phase. Another reason that he can invert though is because he's very two-footed. A player who is comfortable passing on either his right foot or his left foot. And this, again, is incredibly important for a couple of reasons. The main reason being, it doubles the angles with which he can play at. If, for example, this was a one-footed player who can only play with his right foot, as he received the ball in this sort of area, the only real available passes to him would be perhaps Bruno Fernandes in this pocket here, Kobbie Mainoo or Garnacho on the right wing. These are the sorts of passes that he would be looking to play. However, because he is two-footed, he can go the other way as well. He can come in and go to someone like Maguire. He can play the ball square to Casemiro. He can even step into these positions, approach the ball this way, and then play to our left winger. This is very, very useful stuff from Diogo Dalot. Again, it literally doubles his passing options. If he was to be one-footed, it would be quite easy to channel him into playing one way, which he doesn't really want to do. Giving him double the options massively helps United in this build-up phase. It's really, really useful, and it's reflected in the stats. Diogo Dalot is one of Manchester United's most progressive players on the ball this season. And I think genuinely, in this inverted role, he looks really good. I think this is probably his best position as a fullback, inverted either from the left or the right-hand side. He's been doing very well. The important thing, though, is that it also gets more out of Garnacho. And that is because Garnacho has often, not always, often been able to play wide on the right-hand side with Dalot inverted. And playing on the right-hand side has simplified Garnacho's game. It's made it, early on in his career, it's made it a lot easier for him to basically simplify things, allowing him to focus on the basics, create separation against a fullback, dribble the ball wide, try and get across into the box, or try and get a shot at goal, or try and get a cut back into the penalty area. It's just simplified his game a little bit. The ability to go outside means that his burst of acceleration, which seems to be improving, I must add, but that burst of acceleration allows him to get away from his opponent. And because the ball is now on his stronger right foot, it's more natural for him. He needs less space to make something work. So when he plays on the left-hand side and he tries to create separation, he goes out wide, he gets the ball onto his left foot. Because his left foot isn't quite as strong, he needs a bit more space, and basically, he doesn't really have the pace and power to create that extra bit of space, not in the Premier League against some of the most athletic fullbacks. From the right-hand side, however, because he's working the ball onto his right foot, his more natural, comfortable foot, he's able to get the ball into the box. He needs a less space, so the separation issue isn't as big. So that's why Garnacho has been playing really well on the right-hand side. Of course, he needs work on his end product and things like that, but it's working. It's getting a lot out of Dalot inverted, and it's also getting a lot from Garnacho.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFifa for 10% off when you order.
However, this also has a massive tactical advantage over the opposition, and it's because of the shape which it allows United to create. Essentially, at times, a box shape in midfield, with then this kind of back three at the back, if you like. Luke Shaw's often somewhere in between. The important thing here, though, is that we overload key areas of the pitch. Or we force the opposition, basically, to give us the overload. That's the important thing here. Now, the reason for this is because these days, a lot of teams use man-to-man pressing systems, which means Diogo Dalot being the right back is going to be marked by the opposition's left winger, like so. However, as Dalot moves inside the pitch into a more unnatural position, it asks bigger questions of the opposition. If I am now the opposition's left winger, should I follow Dalot all the way into this position here? Possibly. Let's say I do. I follow Dalot into this area here. This now means, though, that when Rafael Varane has the ball, he has a very simple pass to Garnacho, who can get the ball out of his feet and quickly go 1 versus 1. Having that ease of access to a 1 versus 1 dribble is hugely valuable to a team like United. With a player like Garnacho playing on the right-hand side on his stronger right foot, having the ability to draw this player in using the run of Dalot, quickly get the ball to Garnacho, he can go 1 versus 1. That's a huge asset to this side, particularly if we then get runners off the back with someone like Kobbie Mainoo, something like that. Really, really valuable. Now, because of this threat of Garnacho and the ease of which we can access it, what you will then see some sides do is actually say to their left winger, don't follow Dalot, instead tuck in for a few minutes, give your fullback a bit of protection, double up on Garnacho. He's too good in a 1 versus 1 dribble on the right hand side, so we need to drop someone deeper to deal with him, go 2 versus 1. Okay, so they have now nullified our threat on the right hand side. However, what they have actually done in doing that is given us the overload in the middle of the pitch, with Dalot, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo outnumbering the 3-man midfield which you will see from most sides in the Premier League. So basically, we either have the overload in the centre of the park, or we have the 1 versus 1 situation out wide. And that is why, for me, tactically, this has been working so well. Now, of course, it still needs work. It's not the finished article. They've only been playing, this close together for a few weeks now. So they need a lot of work, a lot of development. The team's general patterns need to improve to really get the most out of this. But we're seeing steps in the right direction. And it carries a big threat in the final third as well. And one of the reasons for that is because it's unpredictable. So first of all, they don't know whether to go 2 versus 1 against Garnacho or 1 versus 1. They don't know whether to let us have the overload in midfield or try and match us up. They don't really know what to do. This is made more complicated, though, by the fact that Dalot and Garnacho are both two-way players. What does a two-way player mean? They can go 2 ways. It's pretty simple. So someone like Garnacho can get the ball. He can go 1 way, down the right-hand side onto his right foot. Or, and this is something I've been really impressed with, he can go the second way, 2 ways. He can come inside onto his left foot. And this is where he's really impressed me. His ability to be a two-way winger. There's not many wingers that can do this at the top level. Garnacho is showing the potential to do it. On top of this, though, we've also got Dalot, who can do something very similar. We've already spoken about his ability to play with his left foot, come inside into these areas. But we also know that he's quite comfortable overlapping into the final third. This creates problems for the opposition because the dynamic is very good. And there have been games in recent weeks where someone like Garnacho, like against Villa, has popped up in these positions, and we've seen Dalot high on the right-hand side. High and wide, looking to get into the final third. And in terms of, going into a game, trying to predict how the opposition is going to set up, if you are the opposition manager, looking at United, looking at our right-hand side and how to try and stop it, it's really difficult. Do you go 1 versus 1 with Garnacho, or do you deal with the issue in the midfield? What do you do? But also, how are United going to play? Is Dalot going to fly around on the right-hand side? Is he going to tuck into midfield on a regular basis? Where's Garnacho going to be? Is he going to be in the half space? Is he going to be out wide? It makes it really difficult. And it's been really effective for United in recent weeks and led to some pretty good goals. So on this occasion here, we can see both Dalot and Garnacho on the right hand side. Garnacho being the wider player here, and then Dalot is our slightly more inverted player in this position. So on this occasion, Dalot narrow, Garnacho wide. And the threat is there for all to see. The ball's going to get switched wide to Garnacho. Diogo Dalot has the intelligence to make the underlapping run, and the effect of this is that it drags the West Ham defenders away. You know, this Dalot run moves these two players, opening up the space for Garnacho to show his two-footedness, his ability to go both ways. Garnacho comes inside onto his left foot, strikes at goal, scores. So it comes from Dalot initially being inverted, but still making the forward run. It comes from Garnacho initially being a wide player, but then coming inside onto his left foot. It's just really versatile. Really, really versatile and really difficult to deal with. Got another situation here. This time Garnacho is more tucked in. He's more in the half space. Dalot has overlapped down the right wing. Now what Garnacho is going to do on this occasion is make the decoy run. So the roles have now swapped. So Garnacho makes this decoy run. He drags the attention of these Wolves players. This guy here is literally going to move. This guy here we can see is already pointing. He's already worried about Garnacho. Dalot sees this as the opportunity to come inside, use his two-footedness, the left-footed pass across the box for Bruno Fernandes. We see a little dummy in the penalty area, and eventually Marcus Rashford scores to put us 1-0 up. But once again, it all comes thanks to the versatility and the understanding of our two players on the right-hand side. Now, what I cannot stress enough is that it's not perfect. It needs a lot of work, and again, this is just the start of this dynamic on this side of the pitch. But if they keep working together, if the team as a whole keeps improving, this right-hand side could be very, very good. And personally, I'm quite excited about it. They're both young players. They both work hard. They need to improve out of possession in terms of tactically and understanding of the press and things like that. But they're both young players. They both work hard. They both fight for the team. And they're both technically very good and can go both ways and play in multiple systems. They are both very, very useful assets at this moment in time for Manchester United in current form. Now, the question is, can they keep that form up? But also, can they go to the next level? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do these two have the ability to be the future of the right-hand side for Manchester United? Or does Garnacho in the future want to play on the left? Is Dalot really, really good enough at the top level? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.